At the University of Ghana, our vision is to achieve global impact through innovative research, teaching and learning, using a technology-driven and people-centered approach. Our 2024 to 2029 strategic plan is built on 5 priorities, guiding us to transform, inspire, and elevate our university community. This is 5 for 5. 5 strategic priorities with 5 objectives each for 5 years, driving our mission forward. Together, these priorities shape our thesis. That is, transformative student experience, impactful research, commitment to our faculty and staff, engagement and partnerships, and finally, sustainable resource mobilization and stewardship. Now let's delve into the individual priorities. Transformative student experience. Empowering students through technology-driven, student-centered learning, preparing them to thrive in a global society. Impactful research. Pioneering research that addresses the world's biggest challenges and forges a better tomorrow. Commitment to our faculty and staff. Supporting our faculty and staff with agile structures, growth opportunities, and recognition for excellence. Engagement and partnerships. Building powerful connections across.
Thank you. We are just a few seconds away from the program. Let's take a couple of announcements as we prepare to start. I'm happy to inform you that we are live on all our social media platforms, as well as on our campus radio, Radio Universe 105.7 FM. We also have our washrooms to the right and to the left. Those to my right are for ladies, and those to my left are for gentlemen. Please let's rise for the members of convocation.
to do the exposure.
Modern Basubobria, Mumaya, Yemfa Niger, Animtia, no pepper, and Pennywong, Lego Mampany, Gumbrebre, Gumbrebra Hinewa.
Please let's remain standing for the national anthem. much. Kindly resume your seats. Madam Chancellor, members of Council, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, Provost, Deans, Directors, Registrar, distinguished guest speaker, Chairman and members of the Board of Graduate Studies, members of Convocation, staff and students, alumni, our distinguished graduates, invited guests, friends of the media. It is with great pride that we welcome students who successfully completed their studies during the 2023-2024 academic year to the February 2025 graduation ceremonies. This ceremony, dedicated to the School of Graduate Studies, is the first of 17 graduating ceremonies scheduled for February this year. It is my singular honor at this point to invite our registrar, Mrs. Emilia Ej Mensah, to make introductory remarks as we start this very important ceremony. Please let's welcome our registrar to the podium.
Thank you very much, Director of Public Affairs. Madam Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor in charge of Academic and Student Affairs, Provosts and other university officials, members of Convocation, graduating students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen here in the Great Hall, and joining us from all over the world via the live stream, a very good morning to you all. On behalf of management, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to this ceremony, which is dedicated to the School of Graduate Studies. The ceremony will be under the direction of Mr. Michael Opare-Tua, Deputy Registrar and Administrator of the School of Graduate Studies. We salute all of you, our students, who have worked so hard and are graduating today. Over a 2-week period, close to 16,000 students will be graduating in 18 ceremonies. This morning's ceremony is the first of these 18 ceremonies. I urge all graduating students to follow the instructions of the ushers at the appropriate time and to move towards the stage when they are prompted to do so. We urge our graduating students to remain in the auditorium until the ceremony is over. We will do our best to keep proceedings as short as possible so that after the ceremony ends, you can go out, take your photographs, and celebrate with your family and friends. I urge graduates to return their academic gowns immediately after the ceremony to the designated collection points in order to collect their certificates. Madam Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, before I take my seat, it's my pleasant duty to call on the Dean, School of Graduate Studies, to perform a short but very important ceremony to acknowledge the international students who are graduating today. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a tradition at the University of Ghana that at congregation ceremonies, we acknowledge our international student population who have come from all over the world to study here. We are pleased to report that members of the UG graduating class of 2023-2024 have come from 26 countries, including Ghana. The countries are as follows: Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Canada, China, Congo, Côte d'Ivoire, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Jamaica, Kenya, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, St. Lucia, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Tanzania, Togo, Uganda, United States of America, and last but not the least, Zimbabwe. At this stage, I would like to call on all our international students graduating today who are here to stand and be duly acknowledged. Our dear international students, we cherish your contribution to the academic and social life of the University of Ghana and wish you very well in your future endeavors. Thank you, and you may resume your seats. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome once again to the February 2025 Congregation Ceremony of the School of Graduate Studies. This session is dedicated to our PhDs, MPhils, and some of our MSc graduates. It is my singular honor to introduce the Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Mrs. Mary Chinnuhesi, who is presiding over this morning's congregation ceremony. Mrs. Mary Chinnuhesi is the first female Chancellor of the University of Ghana. She has had renowned careers in Ghana's civil service and at the United Nations. She is an important voice on economic development issues, a defender of human and women's rights, and an advocate for African imperatives. She was the first African woman to be appointed resident coordinator of the UN system and the first African woman to attain the rank of Under Secretary of the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcome Mrs. Mary Chinnuhesi to deliver her opening remarks.
Distinguished members of the University Council, Vice Chancellor, guest speaker, registrar, provosts, deans and directors, esteemed members of convocation, and students, alumni, graduating students, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I don't think it's loud enough. Good morning. Good morning. That's better. As Chancellor of this prestigious institution, the University of Ghana, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this momentous occasion as we gather to celebrate the outstanding achievements of our graduating students. Graduating students, I extend my warmest congratulations to each and every one of you. Your perseverance, resilience, and unwavering commitment have led you to this pivotal moment in your life. I salute you for staying focused despite the challenges you must have faced, including the stresses of work, family demands, and financial sacrifices. Your accomplishments are a testament to your hard work and dedication, and we celebrate you for this. As we honor you today, it is crucial for us to acknowledge the significance of your achievements within the broader context of the global community. The knowledge and skills you have acquired during your time at the University of Ghana have not only prepared you for personal success, but have also equipped you to contribute meaningfully to the development of our society, our nation, and the world at large. Graduating students, the world is yours to transform. Education, coupled with a can-do attitude, is a powerful tool that can transform the world. The knowledge and experience gained from the University of Ghana are designed to empower you to make a profound impact on society. You have been well equipped in this regard. Last year, the university's new strategic plan was launched. The strategic plan prioritizes the creation of an environment that fosters personal growth and academic excellence, and focuses on student-centered, technology-driven, and interdisciplinary learning, ensuring that our students excel in an increasingly complex global society. As we strive for excellence as a university, it is imperative that we prioritize the student experience. I'm glad to note that management is working hard to foster a culture of inclusivity and belonging, towards ensuring that our students feel valued, supported, and empowered to succeed. I laud management for the investments in innovative and student-centered learning experiences, as well as significant achievements in institutionalizing experiential learning, mentorship, internship, and community engagement. All of these enable our students to develop essential life skills and make meaningful connections, as well as contribute in students' well-being, mental and physical health. A holistic approach to education is essential for student success and encourages collaboration, creativity, and entrepreneurship, empowering our students to become active contributors to society and drivers of positive change. All of these initiatives contribute to the creation of a transformative student experience that prepares our graduates to thrive in an ever-changing world. And I charge management to continue to work on this very important strategic priority. I applaud the efforts of management in this regard and stand ready to support these efforts in any way that I can. Vice Chancellor, distinguished guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to declare this assembly duly constituted for the award of degrees to successful graduates. It is customary for the Vice Chancellor to give a report, a congregation, on developments in the university over the last academic year. And I now call on the Vice Chancellor, Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo, to present your report. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Madam Chancellor, members of Council, Pro-Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs, Registrar, Provost, Deans, Directors, and Heads of Departments, our guest speaker, Chairman and members of the Board of Graduate Studies, members of Convocation, staff and students, alumni, graduates, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pride and immense pleasure that I stand before you today to celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of our graduating students. This day marks not just the completion of the academic journeys of our graduating students, but also the beginning of new horizons, new responsibilities, and new opportunities. Congratulations to each one of you on reaching this significant milestone. I think you deserve a round of applause. Over the congregation period of 7 days, a total of 15,750 students will be graduated in 18 sessions. This number is made up of 123 PhDs, 3,444 masters, and 11,067 undergraduates, as well as 1,116 students graduating with diplomas. At the University of Ghana, we continually work on providing an environment that fosters academic excellence, innovation, and holistic development. As we continue to make strides towards achieving our strategic priorities, I'm delighted to share with you some of the transformative developments that have taken place over the past year,
which has enriched the student experience and further cemented our place as a leader in higher education in Africa. The state of the university. The University of Ghana continues to thrive, building on its rich legacy of academic excellence. We continue to make significant strides in our quest to achieve global impact through innovative research, teaching, and learning using a technology-driven and people-centered approach. Our rankings bear testament to this. We were ranked in the Times Higher Education Sub-Saharan rankings as first in Ghana, first in West Africa, and fifth in Sub-Saharan Africa. Which was a remarkable leap from the previous year. And this highlights our unwavering commitment to educational excellence, student engagement, and ethical leadership. We continue to work hard, not just to improve upon our standing in the rankings, but more importantly, to provide a better experience for all our stakeholders. The university's new strategic plan, which is to run for 5 years from 2024 to 2029, was launched in July last year. The strategic plan has 5 strategic priorities, which are transformative student experience, impactful research, commitment to our faculty and staff, engagement and partnerships, and sustainable resource mobilization and stewardship. These 5 strategic priorities, along with the 5 strategic objectives derived from each, which we refer to as our 5 for 5, have been intentionally selected to steer the university towards achieving its aspirations, mission, and vision. They will guide the university in maintaining relevance and impact, while emphasizing the crucial role of every member of our community in helping the university reach its goals. Admissions. This academic year, we welcomed a diverse and talented cohort of students from across the globe. Our admissions process remains competitive, with a keen focus on attracting high-caliber students who will continue to and benefit from our vibrant, who will contribute to and benefit from our vibrant academic community. For the 2024-2025 academic year, a total of 17,473 undergraduate students accepted offers of admission and have enrolled in various programs in all our colleges and campuses. This number is made up of 53.4% females and 46.6% males. I must emphasize that admissions into our distance education programs, as well as our Kumasi and Takoradi City campuses, are still ongoing, and I encourage prospective students, parents, and guardians to explore these options. For graduate admissions, a total of 4,523 students have enrolled for programs in the various colleges, made up of 47.51% females and 52.49% males. And so when we add up the graduate and undergraduate admissions, we have actually achieved gender parity. With just a few more females than males, which is fine. Matriculation ceremonies were held on 8th February for our newly admitted students, at which they were formally welcomed to the university and they took the matriculation oath. I take this opportunity to once again welcome the newest members of the university community and wish them all a fruitful and positive experience. Student accommodation. Recognizing the importance of a conducive learning environment, the university has invested in upgrading our student accommodation facilities. Our aim is to provide a comfortable and supportive environment that fosters academic success and personal growth. We acknowledge the challenges associated with residential accommodation on campus, especially as the number of students admitted yearly far exceeds the available number of bed spaces. Management of the university is committed to finding sustainable solutions to the challenge. The Diamond Jubilee Hall, which was completed using internally generated funds, was commissioned 2 weeks ago. The hall has the capacity of 1,256 students, and rooms there have been allocated through the randomized bed allocation system. This system, which has been used for a number of allocation cycles for both fresh and continuing students, has ensured fairness and transparency in the distribution of spaces in both the traditional halls as well as those operated by the University of Ghana Enterprises Limited, UGEL. Ongoing projects such as the PhD hostel and the Ghana University Staff Superannuation Scheme Students Hostel are part of our efforts to expand capacity. I acknowledge initiatives by the Student Representative Council and the Graduate Students Association of Ghana to increase the stock of student housing, and as management, we will collaborate in these efforts. Improving IT infrastructure. In today's world, the role of technology in education cannot be overstated. The Information Technology Directorate has worked tirelessly to enhance the university's IT infrastructure to ensure seamless connectivity, accessibility, and service delivery for our students and faculty. We have made substantial upgrades in our network connectivity, including the expansion of Wi-Fi coverage to halls of residence, as well as increase in bandwidth. We are also in the process of expanding internet traffic capacity to accommodate the increasing demand for connectivity. We are proud to have restored internet connectivity to the WA Learning Center with upgraded switches, ensuring that all our centers are adequately equipped to support learning. We have also made progress in enhancing our online learning platforms. The Sakai Learning Management System has been upgraded with new features, improving the experience for both faculty and students. In the same vein, the UG library systems has seen improvements that increase access to intellectual works on the UG Space platform. Research and innovation. The University of Ghana continues to lead in the field of research and innovation, as evidenced by our recent achievements. Between January and November 2024, the Research and Innovation Directorate successfully executed 172 research grant contracts valued at approximately $17 million. This demonstrates not only the excellent work being done by our academic community, but also the trust that global partners have in our work. The university has also been at the forefront of fostering youth creativity and entrepreneurship. The Artify project, which seeks to unleash the creative potential of our students, is one such initiative. 8 students were selected to undergo intensive training in art as a business, equipping them with skills to make their mark in the arts industry. The first exhibition of their work showcased 24 pieces, an inspiring testimony of the talent and potential of our students. Modernizing the teaching and learning environment. Madam Chancellor, significant investments have been made in modernizing the teaching and learning environment, and that continued during the past year. The School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, for example, has procured state-of-the-art technology, including UHD TVs and interactive LED screens, to enhance the teaching and learning experience. The West African Center for Crop Improvement has completed upgrades to its classrooms, bioinformatics platform, and entrepreneurship hub, all designed to support advanced teaching methods and foster collaboration. An ultra-modern classroom has recently been commissioned at the Regional Institute for Population Studies, RIPS. The new facility is fitted with state-of-the-art equipment, which is designed to promote interactive and dynamic learning and teaching, and is expected to further establish the role of RIPS as a leader in population studies, offering students and faculty an environment conducive to teaching, learning, and research. Additionally, the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences has received a generous donation of microscopes from the Turkish ambassador to Ghana through a student-led initiative. This donation is a testament to the power of student leadership and collaboration in driving positive change. We are truly appreciative of the support we continue to receive from students, alumni, faculty, and friends of the university for such initiatives. The One Student, One Laptop initiative. We understand that access to the necessary resources is key to academic success. As part of our ongoing commitment to supporting our students, we have distributed over 500 laptops to deserving students since 2022, with a number of additional laptops awaiting distribution to other deserving students. These efforts ensure that our students have the tools they need to thrive in an increasingly digital world. Hotspot comfort zones. We also continue to expand our efforts to provide additional hotspot comfort zones for our students, with 6 facilities currently under construction. These spaces will serve as vibrant hubs for study, collaboration, and relaxation, enhancing the overall campus experience for our students. The Student Experience Center. As we celebrate the accomplishments of today, we also look to the future with excitement and anticipation. The ongoing development of the UG at 75 Legacy Project, including the construction of the Student Experience Center, is set to redefine our campus and elevate the student experience to new heights. This will be a one-stop center with a full complement of resources, services, and opportunities tailored towards students' needs. The center will house satellite offices of the Academic Affairs Directorate, Office of the Dean of Student Affairs, Careers and Counseling Directorate, Center for Disability Studies and Advocacy, Student Financial Aid Office, Student Accounts Office, SRC and GRASAC offices, Innovation and Incubation Hubs, and the Student Leadership Training Center. The Student Experience Center will also have a large multi-purpose auditorium and smaller meeting rooms for group studies, social and religious gatherings, and other student meetings, as well as open and well-kept spaces for relaxation, a food court, gym, and other sporting facilities, among others. The Legon Leadership Academy. Madam Chancellor, I'm pleased to announce that the Legon Leadership Academy, which was launched last year, has held its first sessions aimed at enhancing the leadership skills of current and potential leaders in the university. The 2-day training covered key topics including administrative leadership in higher education institutions and their management structure, basic laws and policies of the University of Ghana, financial leadership, and 21st century leadership skills. Facilitated by expert leaders, the training is designed to equip participants with the knowledge and skills to effectively navigate the complexities of higher education management. The aims of the Legon Leadership Academy perfectly aligns with the university's commitment to the development of our faculty and staff. Looking ahead, we remain committed to reviewing and refining our strategies to ensure the sustainable development of the university. The continued support of our faculty, staff, alumni, and partners is essential to achieving our renewed strategic priorities and driving the University of Ghana towards even greater success. To our graduating students, I would like to say this. Your graduation today is a reflection of your hard work, perseverance, and dedication. As you step into the world, remember that you are not only representatives of the University of Ghana, but also of the values that we hold dear: excellence, integrity, and service to society. May you use the knowledge, skills, and values you have acquired here to make a positive impact wherever you find yourself. We are incredibly proud of you and look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish in the future. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2025. The University of Ghana will always be there to support you as you embark on your next chapter. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker for this morning's congregation ceremony is Mr. Vish Ashiagbo. Mr. Vish Ashiagbo is the country's senior partner for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Ghana. He was admitted into partnership in 2007. Altogether, he has over 30 years of professional experience, 22 of which have been spent with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Vish's journey is nothing short of inspiring. He started out his career in engineering after obtaining his master's degree in engineering from the University of London, Imperial College of Science, Technology, and Medicine. He transitioned into the world of finance, becoming a chartered accountant and taking on various leadership roles at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Today, he leads PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana with vision and expertise as the country's senior partner. Vish has been at the forefront of some Pricewaterhouse's most significant and complex projects, not just in Ghana, but across West Africa in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and the Gambia. He is known for his ability to guide businesses and governments through the intricate world of transactions and deals, from investment appraisals to business valuations. He is a highly skilled professional, distinguished by his exceptional analytical abilities and strong relationship management skills. Beyond his technical expertise, he is a passionate leader dedicated to nurturing and developing the next generation of leaders. He is also a strong advocate for inclusion and diversity, both within PricewaterhouseCoopers and the broader community. You may read the full version of the profile in the congregation brochure. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcome Mr. Vish Ashiagbo to deliver his address.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor, members of Council, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrar, Provost, Deans, graduates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on all the previously established protocols and to say all protocols observed, and good day to you all. So it's my great pleasure to be here today, and it is indeed a privilege to be invited by this great institution to share a few thoughts at this graduation ceremony. First, congratulations to the graduates we celebrate today. I know that your journey this far has involved a lot of hard work, sacrifice, and discipline, not just by you, but also by your families, loved ones, and friends who have supported you along the way. Indeed, nothing good comes easily, but that is what makes today special. So what next for the graduates of the University of Ghana School of Graduate Studies, class of 2025? Allow me to share a few thoughts and suggestions based on my own observations of how the world is evolving around us and my own experience over the years. You all come from different backgrounds, and you would have had different reasons and objectives for pursuing the postgraduate studies that you have successfully completed. As such, my comments will be broad in nature, but I hope that you'll find them applicable, irrespective of the direction you choose to take from now, whether you pursue a career in industry, academia, or elsewhere. So according to the 2021 Population and Housing Census published by the Ghana Statistical Service, about 9.6% of over 18-year-olds that have ever attended school attained bachelor's degrees, 9.6%. So that percentage drops significantly to about 3.8% for postgraduate qualifications, including certificates and diplomas, master's degrees, and doctorate degrees. This data confirms that you are indeed among a privileged few in our country. I've referred to 2021 data, we're in 2025, but I don't think it's significantly different. But you are indeed among privileged few in our country. As Luke chapter 12, verse 48 says, "To whom much is given, much is required." So, being part of a privileged few that were given the opportunity to attend the School of Graduate Studies, much is required of the class of 2025. Wherever you go from here, whichever career path you choose, as has already been said, you must make a positive impact on our society, your community, our community, and the people around you. Indeed, it is your duty to do so. Now, to make an impact, or the impact that is expected of you, requires that you continue to learn. The world is changing, and it is changing fast. You will need to continuously build on the knowledge that you have acquired in order to stay relevant. I'm fortunate to work at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a knowledge-based organization. And one of the things that we do each year is to undertake a survey of business leaders to understand their perspectives and the outlook for the future. Our 2024 survey, which we have recently published, has some interesting findings. Africa and global CEOs, chief executive officers, have included the low availability of workers with key skills among their top 5 business threats. The survey also indicates that CEOs in Ghana lack their African and global counterparts in the adoption of artificial intelligence, Gen AI, at their companies. And over the last 12 months, 68% of Ghanaian CEOs have adopted artificial intelligence, compared to 72% across Africa and 83% globally. A related data point is that 20% of Ghanaian CEOs report an increase in headcount over the last 12 months due to their investments in AI, artificial intelligence. In comparison, it's 14% in Africa and 17% globally. They also reported increases in headcount for the same reasons. So this suggests that although we're slightly behind the curve, businesses and organizations here in Ghana are now incorporating and increasing the use of AI in their operating models and will continue to do so going forward. Increasingly, therefore, employees and other stakeholders with knowledge and skills in AI and other digital tools will be sought after. Fortunately, with the rapid advance of new technology, knowledge is now also more easily accessible to those who seek it. So you should take full advantage of these tools and remain abreast with emerging technologies. But it's not just about acquiring knowledge. More importantly, it's about using the knowledge and skills that you have acquired to solve problems and to deliver outcomes that enhance lives and livelihoods. That is the essence of knowledge, and education. It's not an end in itself, but a means to making a difference to the world around us. So in my own professional career, I've encountered many situations where I've had to draw on my knowledge, skills, and training to solve real-life problems. For example, working with distressed businesses to turn around their fortunes so that employees and other stakeholders can be paid their salaries and other entitlements. Or working with businesses to achieve growth, which in turn provides opportunity for additional employment and growth for others in the chain, suppliers, distributors, etc. But you cannot make a significant impact on your own. The world is a complex place, and the problems of today require diverse and multidisciplinary approaches to solve. Take, for example, the critical matter of the environment and climate change. We can also only solve this existential threat using a multidisciplinary approach that draws on social behavioral change, legal and regulatory initiatives, as well as scientific and technological innovations. Teamwork and collaboration are now more important than ever. To make an impact, you will need to work with individuals and organizations from backgrounds and disciplines other than your own. You must remain open to different perspectives and to embrace diversity in all its forms. Again, in my own experience, I've collaborated with individuals and organizations of varying disciplines: legal, engineering, social scientists, environmental, politicians, faith-based organizations, different groups of people. And I've always found that the impact and outcomes that we achieve are better when we adopt an approach that allows for diversity of thought and experience to be brought to bear. So I'd just like to conclude my few remarks as you graduate today with even higher qualifications to let you know that this is not the end. I'm sure you know that already. It's definitely not the end. It's simply a new beginning, a call to higher duty based on the privileged position that you hold in our society. The hard work and discipline that you have gone through to earn your postgraduate degrees should stay with you. That is what will allow you to make the impact that you are destined to make. So I look forward to each and every one of you making a significant impact wherever you find yourselves in the future. I'll end by saying congratulations again. Thank you for inviting me to this grand occasion, and thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
We thank our guest speaker very much for that thought-provoking address. I have no doubt that we have all been challenged by the address, and we endeavor to practice some of the insights that he has shared with us. Thank you very much again, once again, Mr. Ashiago. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a tradition here in the University of Ghana that at congregation ceremonies, one of the best graduating students delivers a valedictory message on behalf of the graduating class. Our valedictorian for this session is Gideon Atinga Akolgo. Gideon Atinga Akolgo was born in Bolgatanga, where he had his basic education prior to his secondary education in Nandom Senior High School. He proceeded to the University of Ghana for his BSc and MPhil degrees in chemistry in 2012 and 2015, respectively. During his graduate studies, he developed a keen interest in Buruli ulcer, a debilitating skin disease that predominantly affects African children. Thus, he employed a simple chemistry-based thin layer chromatography technique as a real-time solution and potential game changer for diagnosing the disease. Following the successful completion of his MPhil program, Gideon was hired as a research assistant by Professor Richard Amewu. During this period, he fostered the implementation and training of technicians on the use of fluorescent TLC for the detection of the toxin responsible for tissue damage and in endemic countries. He also benefited from research training workshops on brewery ulcer and control and diagnosis from Harvard and Johns Hopkins universities, as well as participating in international conferences at the WHO headquarters in Geneva. His growing passion to develop a diagnostic tool for early detection of brewery ulcer catalyzed the inception of his PhD journey in 2018. He is currently a member of the Drug Innovation Group of the Department of Chemistry, University of Ghana. Gideon is a recipient of the GMPC Scholarship and a two-time recipient of the prestigious Erasmus International Mobility Program, through which he joined the Partridge Group of the University of Sheffield, UK, as a visiting research student. He is also a lecturer of medicinal chemistry at Entrance University of Health Sciences. Away from the laboratory, Gideon is an ardent football fan who always enjoys watching and analyzing football games. He's married to Charity, and they are blessed with a beautiful daughter. Please join me welcome Gideon Atinga Akogo to deliver his address on behalf of the graduating class.
Chancellor, Chairperson and members of Council, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Registrar, Provost, members of the Board of the School of Graduate Studies, Deans and Directors, guest speaker, members of Convocation, distinguished faculty members, esteemed guests, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I stand tall and confident today on this hill of learning as a representation of many of us who started from the muddy valleys of poverty and uncertainty. Mine is a story of a polygamous family of 11 children born to an unlettered peasant farmer and with great experience in marketing ice water, popularly known as payin di payin, into every nook and cranny of the Bolgatanga market. Starting from the Bolgatanga Experimental Primary School, through Adabasi Junior High School, to the good Nandom Senior High School, and finally onto this premier hill of learning, I find it truly humbling to be the valedictorian for this August ceremony. Personally, this has been a nostalgic journey with an interesting climax which I couldn't have envisaged at the beginning of my program some 7 good years ago. It's nostalgic because I have sat here twice as a BSc and MPhil chemistry graduate. Today, it would all seem like a picture-perfect story, but far from it. The journey goes beyond the start of my PhD program in 2018. It actually started exactly 10 years earlier, when a much younger man with aspirations of becoming a medical doctor enrolled for biological science. Long story short, I missed out on that dream. But at this precipice, I vividly remember the wise counsel of Professor Joshua Abo, then Dean of the University of Ghana Business School, Gideon, he said, "Do whatever course you have to do, but do it so well." These words stayed with me throughout my academic trajectory. It turned out the doctor I so much yearned for was not a medic, but a doctor of philosophy in chemistry. I have no doubt that my story resonates with most of us here, some of which I have personally heard. We have been confronted by seemingly unsurmountable challenges and prevailed through the undulating terrains of academic trajectories to be crowned and gowned. It is gratifying to recall how we have successfully navigated the complexities of family responsibilities, acquisition of funding, meeting deadlines, unending lab sessions, etc. We can only count ourselves as privileged, while acknowledging with pride that we did not relent in our pursuit for higher education. Behind these dazzling, hand-woven kente apparels, suits of different pieces and sizes, nicely robed gowns adorned with honor cords and beaming smiles, lie many tales of bittersweet campus experiences. For some of us, it was that particular reaction that never worked. And for others, the codes never would compile. But for most of us, it's been years of exploring the unknown. Albert Einstein tactfully addressed the situation through his words, and I quote, "If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it?" Unquote. Your answer is as good as mine. For those of us who took that first bold step with the ambitious hope of remodeling the world with our findings, we were hit by the realities of long-term papers, equipment breakdown, my personal experience, vigils on theses, chapters, and manuscript drafts, and the sometimes heartbreaking comments from reviewer too. A number of us envisioned a short stay on campus, only to find ourselves on the lonely path to the School of Graduate Studies, with a request for extension in hand. The frustrations that nearly pushed us to abandon our dreams actually stretched us beyond our limit and unearthed our hidden potentials. Congratulations, we made it. Thanks be to God, who always causes us to triumph. With Him on our side, our perseverance, our resilience, and the sheer guts to dream have elevated us a step further. Fellow graduates, I will end by saying, let us always remember that our invaluable experiences in this great institution have empowered us exceedingly. As worthy emblems of this hill of learning, we are cheered on to go forth and conquer whatever confronts us in the world of endless and limitless possibilities. Let us always be confident that we carry in our hands the scars of our resilience, evidence of competence, indomitable team spirit, and intellectual acumen to push beyond the limits of scholarship in any field we find ourselves. As we bask in the glory, we cannot forget the real MVPs. Our parents and guardians, our spouses, our families, our supervisors and course advisors, our mentors and lecturers, our colleagues and course mates, our friends and well-wishers, sponsors and funders, and the random people who believed in us and encouraged us in times of despair. Once again, I say, Ayiko, Mposia.
Thank you very much, Gideon, for that inspiration. I hope we have all been inspired by the address to go on and do better. Let's give him another round of applause, please. We shall now take a musical interlude to be performed by the Ghana Dance Ensemble. They'll be performing the Luvo dance. This dance is a creative work by a former Ghana Dance Ensemble member who choreographed and donated it to the ensemble. The dance is vibrant and energetic with exciting movements and music to accompany it. This dance has been selected for this year's congregation because it will take creativity to move the university and the nation forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the Luvo dance. Wow. That was a Louvo dance. Shall we put our hands together once again for Ghana Dance and Sound? It is now time for the award of degrees, and I have a few instructions for our graduates. You are seated in the order in which you will be called. You will stand to be presented by the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. When your degrees are conferred by the Chancellor, she will say to you, Anyeko, and you have to respond, yeah, yeah. You will then resume your seats for the roll call. For the PhDs, when you are called, you are to walk up to the front of the platform and face the audience to be acknowledged, after which you put on your caps and file past the platform party and return to your seats. For the masters, when your program is mentioned, graduates will be expected to line up in the aisles to my left, which is to your right, to facilitate movement. Please follow the directions of the ushers. When you are called, you are to file past the platform party to be acknowledged and for a handshake with the dean and return to your seats. Courtesy demands that men take off their caps, women will keep their caps on. I will now call on the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies to present graduates for the award of degrees. Graduates, please stand.
Chancellor of the University of Ghana, I, Professor Robert Darko Osei, Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, present to you students of the School of Graduate Studies who, having followed the approved courses of study over the stipulated period and passed the required examinations, have thereby become eligible for the academic awards to which their studies entitle them. I pray for conferment of the awards due them.
Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, by the authority vested in the Chancellor of the University of Ghana, I, Mary Chinwe Hesse, the Chancellor, hereby pronounce the students presented duly graduated. School of Graduate Studies. Anyeko.
You may please resume your seats. Doctor of Philosophy in Agribusiness, Esther Abba Ishen. Her supervisors were Professor Daniel Bruce Sapon, Dr. John Baptist Jato, Dr. Charles Yao Ochri, and Professor Tae Yung Kim. Abdul Fattah Shaibu. His supervisors were Professor Kwabena Asumeni Anaman, Dr. Yao Bonsu Ose Asari, and Dr. Mrs. Abigail Ampoma Adaku. Doctor of Philosophy in Applied Agricultural Economics and Policy, Benjamin Musa Abu. His supervisors were Professor Daniel Bruce Sapon, Dr. Yao Bonsu Ose Asari, Dr. Charles Yao Ochri, and Professor Tae Yung Kim. Felix Larry Esilfi. His supervisors were Professor Daniel Bruce Sapon, Reverend Professor Edward Ebo Onuma, and Dr. John Baptist Jato. Doctor of Philosophy in Applied Parasitology, Ama Afra. Her supervisors were Professor Richard Kwesi Jesse, Dr. Bethel Kwansan Bentum, Professor Patience Boko Tete Kwaku, and Dr. Godfred Futagbi. Doctor of Philosophy in Biochemistry, Elvis Chumesi Abuaje. His supervisors were Professor Gordon Awandari and Dr. Lucas Amenga Etego. Doctor of Philosophy in Biodiversity and Conservation Science, Evans Paul Kwame Amiade. His supervisors were Professor Daniel Kole Atukwefio, Professor Francis Bobo, and Professor Joseph Edusei Sarkodie. Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, Gideon Atinga Akolgo. His supervisors were Professor Richard Amewu and Dr. Jerry Joe Harrison. Kojo Aite. His supervisors were Dr. Enoch Denchi, Dr. Alison Felix Hughes, and Dr. Oredu Jampo. Doctor of Philosophy in Earth Science, Michael Kwesi Jumfor. His supervisors were Professor Prosper Mackenzie Nude, Professor Johnson Menu, and Professor Frank Kwachi Nyame. Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Science, Irene Akusia Abuaji Kumi. His supervisors were Dr. Ted Anang, Dr. Christine Asari Okai, and Dr. Opoku Pebi. Millicent Amekube. His supervisors were Professor Chris Gordon, Dr. Ted Annan, and Professor Daniel Nupeza. Pamela Setou Nuchupo. His supervisors were Professor Benedict Ayara Fusu Mensa, Professor Daniel Nupeza, and Dr. Benjamin Denchira Ufori. Doctor of Philosophy in Food Science, Antonia Helga Ando Odum. His supervisors were Professor Angela Parry Hansen Kunedu, Dr. Mary Anti Chama, and Professor Fribukwesi Salia. Doctor of Philosophy in Material Science and Engineering, Yao Kwachi Adofo. His supervisors were Professor Emmanuel Nyangsen, Professor Benjamin J. Tufo. Doctor of Philosophy in Molecular Cell Biology of Infectious Diseases, Isaiah Deborah. His supervisors were Professor Yao Asari Afrani, Professor Linda Eva Amoa, and Dr. Andrew Karanja Giteku. Fernand Amandine Mbamba Magra. His supervisors were Professor Teresa Manfujira, Dr. Calvin Tiengwe, and Dr. Kwabena Sapon. Nora Nguchizie Nwa Nganyewo. His supervisors were Professor Alfred Amambua Ngwa, Dr. Lucas Amenga Etego, and Professor Gordon Awandari. Kwesi Zando Tando. His supervisors were Professor Nancy Diakwashi, Professor Michael Wilson, and Professor Nils Kwashi. Doctor of Philosophy in Nuclear and Environmental Protection, Suraj Sam Isaka. His supervisors were Professor J.R. Fianco, Dr. Abbas Gibrela, and Dr. Anita Asamoah. Doctor of Philosophy in Nutrition, Alice Koyo Dabra. His supervisors were Professor Matilda Stana Siedu, Professor Seth Edu Afarwa, and Professor Christina Inti. Doctor of Philosophy in Physics, Rebecca Beekun Oforiwa. His supervisors were Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, Dr. Hubert Kofi Azoda, and Dr. Francis Nkrumah. Doctor of Philosophy in Soil Science, Hammond Abekan. His supervisors were Professor Innocent Lawson, Professor Eric Nate, Professor Stella Esumin Brempong, and Professor Thomas Ajade. Doctor of Philosophy in Adult Education and Human Resource Studies, Gifty Boatin. Her supervisors were Professor Michael Tego, Dr. Ellen Mabel Osetutu, and Dr. Clara Bene. Doctor of Philosophy in Communication Studies, Daniel Ampofu Kwame Eje. His supervisors were Dr. Gilbert Kum Mobum Theater and Professor Abena Enimua Yeboa Benin. Jade Ampoma Ban. Her supervisors were Professor Abena Yeboa Benin, Reverend Father Dominic Maximilian Ufori, and Dr. Raphael Odum. Doctor of Philosophy in Dietetics, Celestine Enyonam Mensah. Her supervisors were Dr. Frida Intifo, Dr. Irene Hachu, and Dr. Joanna Larry Afutu. Eunice Norte. Her supervisors were Dr. Matilda Asante, Professor Charlotte Wright, Dr. Frida Intifo, and Professor Richmond Aite. Ruth Tinkrama Owu. Her supervisors were Professor George Awuku Asare, Dr. Matilda Asante, and Dr. Charles Brown. Doctor of Philosophy in Public Health, Godwin Ajapa. His supervisors were Professor Dia Jumo and Professor Samuel Busumpra. Ransford Kweku Efiadie. His supervisors were Dr. Benedict Wilbon, Professor Felix Dakujechi, and Dr. Adana Uloku Nwameme. Stanley Kofi Alo. His supervisors were Professor Philip Baba Adongo, Dr. Franklin Gloza, and Professor Irene Krechi. Emmanuel Anogiba Anaba. His supervisors were Professor Richmond Aite, Professor Emilia Asuko Udofia, and Dr. Adum Menu. Abigail Ansre Boete. Her supervisors were Professor Emmanuel Asampon, Dr. Franklin Gloza, Professor Lydia Aziato, and Professor Felix Daku Jechi. Theopista Fokukura. Her supervisors were Professor Juliana Yate Enos, Professor Kwesi Tope, and Dr. Deda Ogum Alengia. Simon Peter Katungoli. His supervisors were Professor Patricia Akwengo and Dr. Augustine Aduma Afari. Marian Ofe. His supervisors were Professor Richard Adenu, Professor Ernest Kenu, and Professor Alexander Ansamenu. Lily Ojiri. Her supervisors were Professor Kwesi Tope, Professor Ernest Kenu, and Dr. Anthony Danso Apia. Michael Mreku Opoku. His supervisors were Professor Kwejo Ansankuram, Dr. Priscilla Awonote, and Dr. Alexander Ansan Menu. Badimak Peter Yaru. His supervisors were Professor Paulina Tindana and Professor Emmanuel Asampon. Doctor of Philosophy in Accounting, William Ofori Dakun. His supervisors were Professor Francis Abuaji Ochre and Professor Godfred Matthew Yao Owusu. Abdullahi Inusa. His supervisors were Professor Francis Abuaji Ochre and Dr. Cletus Ejenim Boatin. Mavis Pobi. Her supervisors were Professor Francis Abuaji Ochre and Dr. Cletus Ejenim Boatin. Doctor of Philosophy in African Studies, Emmanuel Bedu Amoa. His supervisors were Professor Kojo Sebastian Amano, Professor Richard Asante, Professor Emmanuel Ufosu Mensa Ababio. Richard Awubomu. His supervisors were Professor Albert Kandisi Awedoba, Professor Samuel Enije Intewusu, Professor Abimnola Adejos Adesoj, and Professor Deborah Atubra. Promise Ewe. His supervisors were Professor Joji Chikata, Professor Kojo Sebastian Amano, Professor Ruth Hall, and Professor Fred Janku. Victor Anderson Hodibet. His supervisors were Professor Dr. Osman Al-Hassan, Professor Sebastian Kojo Amano, and Professor Kwame Amwa Labi. Latif Tahiru. His supervisors were Professor Kojo Sebastian Amano and Professor Mark Pesa White. Doctor of Philosophy in Development Economics, Mawenyega Makafui Butu. His supervisors were Dr. Louis Boachi Yadom, Professor Abena Odro, and Professor Bernardin Senaja. Doctor of Philosophy in Development Studies, Innocent Sefa Agbeli. His supervisors were Dr. Simon Bawa Chilenuo and Dr. Richmond Ata Ankuma. Rahman Evans Kurubuni. His supervisors were Professor Isaac Ose Akoto, Professor Mohamed Amidu, and Professor Peter Kwoti. Petronella Munemu. Her supervisors were Professor Joji Chikata, Professor Joseph Yaro, and Professor Fred Janku. Victoria Tanti Wilson. Her supervisors were Professor George Owusu, Dr. Abba Obruma Krentel, and Dr. Musimi Mbati. Doctor of Philosophy in English, Kweku Opoku. His supervisors were Professor John F. Redu, Dr. George Frimpong, and Dr. Kweku Osei Tutu. Doctor of Philosophy in Finance, Catherine Irama Owusua Asefua. Her supervisors were Professor Joshua Yideneba Abo, Professor Saint Kutu, and Dr. Lodina Amwa. Doctor of Philosophy in Geography and Resource Development, Diana Ajay Boedi. Her supervisors were Professor George Owusu, Professor Samuel Ej Mensah, and Professor Gary Adam Kiwis. Victor Boatin. His supervisors were Professor Martin Otin Abebio, Professor Charlotte Ringley Asante, and Dr. Ebenezer Goodman-Nukwe. Franklin Aseye Komla Bonaman. His supervisors were Professor Martin Otinga Babio, Professor Charlotte Ringley Asante, and Dr. Ebenezer Nukwe. Shelter Gachi. Her supervisors were Professor Joseph Tay, Professor Joseph Awetori Yaro, and Dr. Nuja Kleist. Dominic Edem Kojo Huto. His supervisors were Professor Alex Boachi Asiedu, Professor Charlotte Ringley Asante, and Dr. Ernest Ajimai. Godwin Odikro. His supervisors were Professor George Owusu, Professor Martin Otinya Babio, and Professor Gerald Yiran. Doctor of Philosophy in Health Policy and Management, Abdul Salam Abdul Rahman. His supervisors were Professor Patience Asewe Abo, Dr. Nananimo Apia Jekum, and Professor Gordon Abeka Nkrumah. Hannah Ekuya Oparibia Aqua. Her supervisors were Dr. Francis Anderson Ejay, Professor Justice Novinho, and Professor Dia Jumo. Jacqueline Nkrumah. Her supervisors were Professor Aaron Esibi Ebosi, Professor Liliane, and Dr. Anita Asiome Baku. Doctor of Philosophy in Information Systems, Jifa Tomiwa Bibi. Her supervisors were Professor John Ifa and Professor Richard Boating. Augustine Oseya Umante. His supervisors were Professor Eric Afudazi, Professor Richard Boating, and Professor Anthony Afudazi. Anthony Micah. His supervisors were Professor John Ifa and Professor Richard Boating. Obed Kwame Ajaku Penu. His supervisors were Professor Richard Boating, Professor John Ifa, Dr. Echiampong Owusu, and Dr. Joseph Budu. Doctor of Philosophy in International Affairs, Felix Adum Asante. His supervisors were Dr. Ken Ahosu, Dr. Frederick Boama, and Dr. Festus Kofi Obin. Gideon Nlibe Bilijo. His supervisors were Dr. Amanda Jennifer Kofi, Dr. Philip Atukwe Fio, and Dr. Festus Kofi Obin. Ajua Bernice Cooper. Her supervisors were Professor Kwekuda Nsubuafu, Dr. Boni Yao Gebe, and Professor Charles Frimpong. Doctor of Philosophy in Marketing, Mohammed Muniru Husseini. His supervisors were Professor Mahmoud Abdullahi Mahmoud and Dr. Kwame Adum. Daniel Yenube Nang. His supervisors were Professor Mahmoud Abdullah Mahmoud and Professor Robert Ebo Hinson. Noel Nichugan. His supervisors were Professor Kobi Mensah and Professor Raphael Odum. Daniel Kojo Chimesi. His supervisors were Professor George Chiampon and Professor Kwame Adom. Doctor of Philosophy in Migration Studies, Bonchel Abdullahi Dut. His supervisors were Professor Akosia Dakwa, Professor Mary Boatima Setrana, and Dr. Edward Asiedu. Joyce Owusua Eshia. Her supervisors were Professor Mary Boatima Setrana, Dr. Al-Hassan Osman, and Professor Delali Margaret Badasu. Lawrence Hayford. His supervisors were Professor Delali Badasu, Professor Leander Kandilige, and Dr. Mumuni Abu. Christian Na. His supervisors were Professor Alex Asiedu, Professor Joseph Tay, and Professor Leander Kandilige. Richard Seiram. His supervisors were Professor Joseph Kofite, Professor Joseph Yaro, Dr. Lily Shalom Lindgaard, and Dr. Francis Jaraura. Doctor of Philosophy in Museums and Heritage Studies, Victoria Adinokuo Ayi. Her supervisors were Professor Benjamin Warinsi Kampenyen, Dr. William Blepo, and Professor Kwabena Akuram Pari. Ishak Isa. His supervisors were Professor Kojo Gavua, Dr. Musa Hambolu, and Dr. Samuel Nkumban. Philip Owusu. His supervisors were Professor Kojo Gavua, Professor Hans-Peter Hahn, and Professor Daniel Kojo Abogbedo. Doctor of Philosophy in Music, Grace Techi Donko. Her supervisors were Professor John Collins and Dr. Ajua Ahin. Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science, Samuel Kofi Edu Dixon. His supervisors were Professor Abeku Esuman Johnson, Dr. Mami Jechi Jando, and Dr. Nene Lomote Kudicha. Samson Confidence Agbe Lengo. His supervisors were Professor Abeku Esuman Johnson and Professor Seidu Mahama Alidu. Muhammad Kamil Mole Al-Hassan. His supervisors were Professor Seidu Alidu, Dr. Abdul Jalilu Ateku, and Dr. Kumi Ansankoi. Vivian Dazi. His supervisors were Professor Joseph Ayi, Professor George Owusu, and Dr. Lloyd Edu Amoa. McLean Ninso Bati. Professor Abeku Esuman Johnson, Professor Seidu Alidu, and Dr. Charles Amu Ajimai. Mutala Muhammad Ibrahim. His supervisors were Professor Ransford Edward Van Jampo, Professor Seidu Mahama Alidu, and Professor Emmanuel Debra. Daniel Ofori Mante. His supervisors were Dr. Kumi Ansankwe, Dr. Mami Jechijando, and Professor Seidu Alidu. Anasenko Olapu. His supervisors were Professor Kwame Boafo Arthur, Dr. Emmanuel Yeboah Esiama, and Professor Seidu Mahama Alidu. Sajida Shiraz. His supervisors were Professor Abeku Esuman Johnson, Dr. Kwame Asa Asante, and Dr. Hassan Wahab. Abigail Ayengo Tete. Her supervisors were Professor Joseph Ayi, Dr. Mamije Chijando, and Dr. Isaac Owusu Mensah. Doctor of Philosophy in Population Studies, David Atombere Adumbere. His supervisors were Professor Ayaga Agulabawa, Professor Samuel Ni Adekujo, and Dr. Aaron Kobina Christian. Michael Amponsa. His supervisors were Professor Mumuni Abu, Professor Samuel Ni Adekujo, and Professor Kingston Shaja. Jones Ejapon Frimpong. His supervisors were Professor Samuel Ni Adekujo, Dr. Mumuni Abu, and Dr. Angela Chirewa Eyisi Ado. Seth Bosumpim Kisi. His supervisors were Professor Stephen Owusu Kwanchi, Dr. Mumuni Abu, and Dr. Fidelia Akpene Amadake. Clara Kyomuhendo. Her supervisors were Professor Stephen Owusu Kwanchi, Dr. Faustina Frimpong Angwa, and Dr. Lily Kobi. Crystal Bubune Lecha. The supervisors were Professor Benjamin Delali Komladovi, Professor Samuelni Adekujo, and Dr. Faustina Frimpong Angwa. Opuni Badam. His supervisors were Dr. Mumuni Abu, Professor Isaac Osei Akoto, and Dr. Lily Kobi. Doris Akosiate. Her supervisors were Professor Margaret Delali Badasu, Dr. Mumuni Abu, and Dr. Fidelia Dake. Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology, Rachel Nashika Hansen Garson. Her supervisors were Dr. Enusa Abdul Nasiru, Dr. Francis Ano, and Dr. Collins Bedu Ajimai. Charity Ama Teku. Her supervisors were Professor Joseph Osafo, Professor Irene Krechi, and Professor Kweku Opon Asante. Doctor of Philosophy in Public Administration and Policy Management. Albert Frimpong. This is a student with special needs. His supervisors were Professor Kwame Ameya Odomfe, Professor Abdul Gafaru Abdullahi, and Dr. James Kwame Mensah. Let's do it for him. He's blind, but he's been able to achieve a PhD. Visually impaired. We continue with the list. Gameli Dominic Huduafia. His supervisors were Professor Justice Bawile, Professor Albert Ahinkan, and Dr. Daniel Apia. Kwame Ando Ochre. His supervisors were Professor Kwame Asamoah, Professor Abdul Gafaru Abdullahi, and Dr. Daniel Apia. Robert Aziz Tia Abdullahi. His supervisors were Professor Albert Ahinkan, Dr. James Kwame Mensah, and Dr. Daniel Apia. Doctor of Philosophy in Sociology, Baba Zakaria Al-Hassan. His supervisors were Professor Steve Toner and Professor Justice Tankibe. Doris Ayele Amatefio. His supervisors were Dr. Peace Mamle Tete and Dr. Isaac Mensah Boafu. Gisela Nakwo Gomashi. Her supervisors were Professor Steve Toner and Reverend Professor Ochrefo. Perpetual Nancy Bedu Kodom. Her supervisors were Professor Kojo Sena, Professor Lydia Aziato, and Professor Akusia Dakwa. Doctor of Philosophy in Study of Religions, Samuel Ajono. His professors were Dr. Ben Willie Golo, Professor Elizabeth Amwa. Benjamin Doe, Gabriel Apia. His supervisors were Professor Rosemary Amenga Etego and Professor James Christopher Thomas. Bismarck Kwesi Osei. His supervisors were Dr. Harry Agbanum and Dr. Lawrence Boachi.
Master of Philosophy in Agribusiness, Nana Adra Ajiman, Daniel Samuel Nyamiche Androbisu, Andrew Richard Asaki, Kenneth Pogning Mito, Mustafa Suraj Mohammed, Master of Philosophy in Agricultural Economics, Eiram Kweku Boesi, Daniel Opoku, Abdul Waris Suhini Salifu, Master of Philosophy in Agricultural Engineering, Daniel Selom Bodo, Master of Philosophy in Applied Geophysics, Christian Owusu Apia. Master of Philosophy in Applied Nuclear Physics, Emmanuel Makafui Kwabla Doga. Master of Philosophy in Applied Parasitology, Divine Agbenyo, Irene Love Boafwa Amoa, Prince Ato Donko, Andrews Ose Obese, Mabel Jesse Osabute Aguje, Christopher Nilai Teria Mensa, Jaga Mohammed Yakubu, Rhoda Yaboa. Master of Philosophy in Aquaculture, Philip Kwesi Banini. Master of Philosophy in Biochemistry, Albert Finn Adonu. Master of Philosophy in Biodiversity and Conservation Science, Dorcas Apau Echampama. Master of Philosophy in Botany, Kwesi Boating Inchubo Esiako. Master of Philosophy in Chemistry, Stephen Doomson Agbeku, Stephen Kwesi Kemel Egan, Emmanuel Enim Densu, Isaac Tete Doku, Zaidu Jabiru. Master of Philosophy in Climate Change and Sustainable Development, Ni Ofoli Gakpo Kwaku. Master of Philosophy in Computer Engineering, Nana Kofi Dansumensa. Master of Philosophy in Computer Science, Pius Jamena. Master of Philosophy in Crop Science, Eunice Amoalabi, Emmanuel Bonsu Boateng, Ernestina Mensa Pebi. Master of Philosophy in Environmental Sanitation Studies, Bello Mustafa Mohammed, Teddy Opare Som Ofei, Joseph Amening Ofori, Priscilla Wonyonyo. Master of Philosophy in Environmental Science, Benedicta Bubune Adatrovo, Samson Domwakro Duyo Puyang Doda, Emmanuel Bafo Ose Akoto. Master of Philosophy in Food Science, Rosebud Yaba Eidu, Peggy Dadzi, Nafisa Tu Labaran, Frank Pege Mboum, Beatrice Abede Mensa, Eugenia Abede Inkansa, Na Atre Abla Nyako. Master of Philosophy in Health Physics and Radiation Protection, Eunice Ampoma Abuache, Stephen Nana Emisa, Eric Ofosu Asari, James Owusu. Master of Philosophy in Home Science, Tahiru Alasan, Irajwa Achinwa Anderson, Paul Apeko, Eunice Damwa Ban. Master of Philosophy in Hydrogeology, Prospera Sungzi Sungpo. Master of Philosophy in Material Science and Engineering, Rebecca Boama, David Fiawoto, Perline Amy Newlands. Master of Philosophy in Mathematics, Emmanuel Kweku Mensah. Master of Philosophy in Medical Physics, Stephen Bano, Ernest Jikunu, Emmanuel Ekem Ferguson, Solomon Jeche, Mohammed Menu, Vincent Ofori, Samuel Inti Owusu, Mohammed Mamdu Salifu. Master of Philosophy in Molecular Biology, Christiana Dufie Asamoah, Edwin Sechi Che Bafo. Master of Philosophy in Molecular Cell Biology of Infectious Diseases, Sarah Na Boto Ashite, Raudat Baba Adam, Francis Ejapong, Samira Said. Master of Philosophy in Nuclear Agriculture, Samuel Amo Osei, Grace Elom Ayeyi. Master of Philosophy in Nuclear and Environmental Protection, Ebenezer Boedi Kumi, Ruby Eshan, James Norte. Master of Philosophy in Nuclear Technology Applications in Petroleum and Mining Industries, Richard Edufo Odro. Master of Philosophy in Nutrition, Ohui McCarthy, Habiba Seidu, Sherry Apiajimachum. Master of Philosophy in Physics, Newman Amoyao, Kenneth Sandina, Samson Seke. Master of Philosophy in Seed Science and Technology, Oluwa Timilehin Emmanuel Adegbaju, Ernest Amano Labi, Prince Ba, Mary Ann Chinasa Eze, Abayodun Ibrahim Isaka, Jacqueline Cheriot, Francis Maura Mirara, Love Kayode Odunlami, Emmanuel Chukwe Loka Ubu. Master of Philosophy in Statistics, Akosia Amevo, Asamoah Labi. Master of Philosophy in Communication Studies, Gertrude Oforua Brakon, Juliana Kofi. Master of Philosophy in Educational Leadership and Management, Sophia Akole Akojiram, Genevieve Esinam Ekuamwa. Master of Philosophy in Information Studies, Eugene Ado, Patience Adechi, Benedicta Krampa Akoto Bitherman, Mubarak Ali, Adamu Awudu, Hamidu Baba, Richmond Oseiboateng, Mabel Frempong, Juliana Naode Hammond, Kwesi Opunika Kari, Abudu Isa Ndago, Isaac Ninoy Norte, Samuel Babington Norte, Evan Kofi Ochre.
Master of Philosophy in Applied Epidemiology and Disease Control, Benedict Azoble. Telma Tele Amfor. Doris Abwajuwa Edu Kwansa. Doris Abwajuwa Edu Kwansa. Lamin Manjan. Frances Mendy. Carlota Martin Husa. Sahadu Shembla Sayibu, Ebenezer Owusu Reku, Master of Philosophy in Human Anatomy, Tamba Boloyala Valerie, Tambe Boloyala Valerie Ayele Dodoi. Master of Philosophy in Medical Biochemistry, Dr. Jamal Bredu, Prince Akwesi Fojo. Master of Philosophy in Medical Microbiology, Henrietta Eje. Ruth Mamle Afol, Zuleha Alidu, Jennifer Sairam Amedio, Laurentia Ami MFA Ativi, William Boateng, Michael Selom De Zeha, Miriam Dedema Doughty, Abna Ahima Ebuako, Adomia Baba Mensa, Wayi Carrington Badi Polka, Master of Philosophy in Midwifery, Francisca Agbanbela, Cynthia Akagbo, Margaret Dovi Akalu, Emma Equia Emilia Amoa, Abigail Yamoa Apia, Shine Sena Atiemo, Sheila Amomba Ayamba, Mabel Kanyomse, Dahamatu Isahaku Combat, Linda Oseibia Kumi, Betty Osei Intiamwa, Adiza Osman, Cecilia Tete, Hajara Yakubu, Zariatu Yakubu, Master of Philosophy in Nursing, Kofi Mensah Adams, Kasim Adams, Dina Brenda Boateng Edu, Shina Edu Esiama, Samuel Kwesi Agbeku Ahia, Frida Akoli, Faustina Erica Akpabli, Francisca Entry Amamu, Promise Diedom Amegashi, Gisela Ashirifia Amwa, Clara Amponsan, Margaret Frimpoma Entry, Ayak Aichama Entry Bekon, Surazu Bayo, Christiana Atabriu, Flavian Martin Dappler, Benedicta Princess Doche, Bridget Sayam Zilono, Cynthia Essel, Dora Esuman, Paulina Kafari, Kafui Afi Kokoroko, Jonas Kunferi, Evans Kwajotreme, Monica Mensah, Ernestina Afro-Newman, Patience Noko-Norty, Rachel Nyako, Margaret Nyako, Mavis Obo, Rebecca Autry, Ayesha Opon, Bonnie Osei, Jennifer Owari, Sarah Boafua Ousu, Winifred Piesa, Christophe Sa, Portia Ablatunu, Samuel Chumesi, Kitido Lazarus Umar, Charles Yajalin, Yvonne Yankee, Master of Philosophy in Pediatric Nursing, Laura Akene Ade, Samuel Banye, Mary Buedu, Master of Philosophy in Pharmacology, Ismaila Adams, Kwesi Eje Safo, Patrick Ama, Marcus Daite Lanyon, James Tuatali Perry, Dwede Rhoda Wilson, Master of Philosophy in Physiology, Samuel Eje Boache, Gerald Afram Eduse, Foster Kweku Amewowo, Emmanuel Kojo Awute, Emmanuel Dakon, Josephine Crantain Osei Tutu, Mathan Faye Asa, Andrew Nyampan Seitu Jr. Master of Philosophy in Accounting, Christian Fusaini Abusegri, Eugene Pa Kwesi Ade, Stanley Abenya Alipo, Isaac Ansa Amwan, Salina Atipo, Solomon Nachen Bada, Josephine Che Bafo, Sandra Chuma Labi, Frank Somia Kwao. Master of Philosophy in African Studies, Divine Cyril Ahosu, Master of Philosophy in Archaeology, Bismarck Asamoah, Master of Philosophy in Economics, Mohammed Sharif Ibrahim, Samuel P. Emmanuel Opoku. Master of Philosophy in English, Mohammed Al-Hassan, Samuel Ewia Bani, Eric Demban Kunkuri.
Master of Philosophy in Finance, Stanley Kwesi Asem, Francis Danso, Priscilla Enchi Owusu, Alfred Desmond Pepra, Joshua Titus Kweku, Isaac Kofi Youngson, Master of Philosophy in French, George Malik Ban, Drusilla Akwele Koka, Solomon Amenyo Demenya, Francis Na Colley, Ya Kumiwa Odro, Sharon Kwabe Ofosu, Master of Philosophy in Geography and Resource Development, Joshua Mauto Atiga, George Tando, Master of Philosophy in Health Services Management, Eric Ingetia Kabenla, Master of Philosophy in Human Resource Management, Gideon George Aidan, Francis Kakuneju Yeboah, Master of Philosophy in Linguistics, Prince Esiedu, Edith Kweki Bakite, Modesta Jinche, Kanyiti, Cecilia Sapon, Master of Philosophy in Marketing, Emmanuel Kwe Clote, Lawrence Edem Digionyo, His Lord Kwesi Modesti Opoku, Master of Philosophy in Migration Studies, Ivitaiko Ayete, Naomi Bubuama Jechi, Master of Philosophy in Music, Samuel Asari Ejare, Set Enim Ampofo, Master of Philosophy in Operations Management, Francis Akwa, Viscount Ameke Egbenya, Bright Kweku Ahen, Francis Esiedu, Mariam Bimpembi, Janet Kobina, Stephen Kobe Kove, Master of Philosophy in Political Science, Vera Aku Ajamli, Harry Mokwa Achine, Nelly Adadzwa Dazi, Kweku Obeng Efa, Esther Okran, Bright Kwejo Odro, Francis Pimpon, Master of Philosophy in Psychology, Rakiba Winiya Abbas, Peter Mensa Ejei, Caleb Ajimandria, Manasseh Kojo Akogo, Joyce Nenasari Ohemeng, Caroline Ejriba Baden, Ebenezer Hina Kubudu, Emerald Regina Doju, Eunice Edenam Kove, Jedidia Blessing Kwarifa, Ekia Chem Sapon, Abraham Newton, Leslie Gideon Nucci, Eugenia Josephine Atanyumu, Louisa Chumesi, Master of Philosophy in Public Administration, Diana Ajiboloso, Raliatu Aziz Brahma, Paul Anise Kose, Ernest Copperfield Sosu, Grace Wilson. Master of Science in Social Work, Juliana Abare, Abibata Bavuk, Sandra Boateng, Rosemary Nyanta Dodu, Faiza Imoru, Deborah Abena Sapon, Master of Philosophy in Study of Religions, Kweku Eduse Echampon, Philip Yao Achiago, Vivian Mensah, Master of Fine Arts, Seth Amewode, Master of Science in Applied Health Social Science, Gertrude Abdullahi, Anna Sampson, Master of Science in Bioethics, Christian Alga, Victor Na Bacha, Jamaldeen Majid Dude, Jeremiah Tankoruk, Master of Science in Biostatistics, Ekia Amponsa Obeng, Master of Science in Clinical Trials, Clara Kao, Antonita Otu, Master of Science in Medical Laboratory Sciences, Josephine Padiki Ablakwa, Salia Yao Bayamina, Regina Kokokuju, Isaac Kwe Teriana, Sarah Seidu, Master of Science in Nursing, Umar Atiku, Hawa Tangaza Ibrahim, Fuseina Ismail, Master of Science in Occupational Hygiene, Abigail Abena Bafo, Nicholas Damche, Veronica Doda, Master of Science in Physiotherapy, Michael Ni Ajete Mensah, Daniel Opoku, Master of Science in Public Health Monitoring and Evaluation, Stanley Boama Abankwa, Dinah Edu Asamoah, Edem Akoli Ajima, Grace Achei Akpo, Daniel Ba, Delali MFA Ami Davidson, Mawenam Amadavo, Maxwell Gbagbo, Gertrude Gombe, Emilia Mensah, Emilia Amichagli, Kudiratu Yakini, Master of Science in Speech and Language Therapy, Cynthia Afram Dakwa, Lewina Hilary Azuma Nelson,
Master of Public Health, Ramadan Ibrahim Abdallah, Sahadatu Abdul Hamid, Mariama Abdullahi, Zinabu Mamle Adams, Lydia Adai, Randy Adai, Elmion Senya Ajay, Michael Adumakun, Samuel Oduma, Jonathan Kwesi Ajidgodi, Julius Evame Agbaga, Charles Kafui Aglanya, Eunice Akosia Jamfra Fiango, Janet Ahiagba, Fatima Osman Ahmed, Dominic Akansidi Aketeba, Sandra Amankwa, Sandra Duarte Amano, Vera Edem Amesawu, Precious Amevo, Kwabena Opon Amwako, Derek Ofosu Amo, Rhoda Na Koklu Anan, Rita Enima, Francis Eliklim Ansre, Kizi Sewa Atechi, Elizabeth Achama Enchi, Samuel Enchi, Jemima Enchi Menu, Candice Abna Apia, Catherine Ama Enemil, Anna Arthur Yatel, Derek Asari, Ni Odate Ashong Lamti, Ifwa Sechua Asan, Selina Ifwa Atawoni, David Atawoni, Obed Achu Ufori, Rebecca Kwachua Atubi, Sola Bandon, Daniel Jobin Bell City, Kelda Boache, Flora Ode Boache Mensa, Nana Afeji Boyson, Grace Rachel Brown Engman, Jiki Kamara, Sonia Grace Jifa Coach, Lord Asari Deborah, Ross Denchi, Valeski Dinsi, Maunyo Gifty Ajo Dovlo, Laurentia Della Gigenio, Samuel Kwesi Ekuban, Lodina Olumwa Eshen, Miriam Eshen, Bright Fokwo, Mami Ama Inchua Fuga, Eugene Balbuli Gandabi, Akpene Philippine Gomado Anabila, Josephine Ahen Gordon, Gloria Gordon Okai, Samuel Hanyo, Gabriel Jamal Pizan Ibrahim, Mariama Wumpini Idrisu, Hainau Idrisu, Saidu Idrisu Ahmed, Adamu Isaka, Monica Afi Alemowo Kekrebesi, Rebecca Ataukipo, Patience Kolan, Joseph Kwesi Kosa, Isaac Che, Enoch Che, Raymond Asari Lawe, Annette Emilia Adokolomo. Belinda Na Lasiji, Ivona Makunati, Maxwell Nibelo, Marjorie Na Okai Nikwe, Abigail Ninsen, Galina Yomli Nuete, Stephen Nonu, Joseph Kabina Nyamisen, Enoch Nyako, Priscilla Obeng Buedi, Gifty Obeng Mensa, Beatrice Obo, Edward Ohinemafo, Mavis Esidam Akos Oman, Rahel Opon Pepra, Augusta Opon, Nana Ama Buadiba, Samuel Owusu, Gertrude Abnai Yanka Pabi, Martin Zhang Pam, Abigail Na Ajoko Kobi, Irene Kwaku, Marian Sebe, Solomon Kwashi Sosu, Ellen Soglu, Anita Senat Asari Tibwa, Danielle Enyonam Esi Vowoto, Thy Will Fafali Womade, Richard Peter Yali. Master of Health Economics, Stephen Owusu Efriye, Jejom Kwesi Awalime, Jorgen Carl Engman, Kwame Kisichum, Emmanuel Kwating, Enoch Oblimensa, Petrolina Redu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean and administrators of the School of Graduate Studies. Now, our dear new graduates, congratulations. You are now our freshest alumni. As graduates, you may now take a moment to move the tassels on your caps from the right to the left to signify your graduation. All right, congratulations once again. Shall we put our hands together once again for them? As alumni of this university, we urge you to go out there and be our international ambassadors and make us proud. Once again, congratulations. Shall we put our hands together for them once more? It is now my pleasure to invite the Chancellor for her closing remarks and to dissolve congregation.
Thank you very much. Members of the University Council, Vice Chancellor, and other officers of the university, the guest speaker, members of convocation, staff and students, alumni, new graduates, guests from all around the world, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our deliberations are finally coming to an end. As we end this ceremony, I would like to salute all those who have worked hard to ensure a successful event, particularly those who have played various roles in the planning and organization of today's event, as well as the 17 other congregation ceremonies that are taking place this week. To the fresh graduates, you have worked hard over the period that you have been students at this university. And you deserve all the laurels that you have acquired. I congratulate you all on your achievements and urge you to be worthy ambassadors of your alma mater, this prestigious university. I encourage you to maintain your links with the university and to be active members of the University of Ghana Alumni Association. I wish you success in your future endeavors. And do be guided by the university's core values of integrity, commitment, respect, and loyalty. Remember, it's not what you are given, but what you make out of what you have that sets you apart. We expect that with the knowledge and skills you have acquired, you will assist our dear country, Ghana, to confront and resolve the many challenges that we have as a nation. I would like to repeat the same advice I gave to the last crop of graduates on whom I conferred degrees, which remain relevant. Remember that you are not just individuals receiving degrees. You are ambassadors of knowledge, agents of positive change, and the hope for a brighter future. May the education you have received here at the university be a beacon that lights your path, and may your journey be marked by success, fulfillment, and a lasting impact on the world. Congratulations once again. Go out into the world with pride, purpose, and the knowledge that you are well prepared to make a difference. Our thanks also go to all faculty and administrators and all who have worked together to ensure that your stay in the university has been fruitful. We appreciate the efforts that have gone into this enterprise. As we end this ceremony, I would like to salute who have worked hard to ensure a successful program, especially all those who played various roles in the planning and organization of this event. Graduates who have contributed to significantly and so significantly in different ways to their success, shall we say, with a clap offering for all those who have worked. To our guest speaker for today, we appreciate your presence and participation in the ceremony and your kind words to our fresh graduates. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my duty to declare this congregation ceremony officially dissolved. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
A round of applause. We are very grateful to you for your relentless support to us. We cherish your encouragement. Grateful to you for your relentless support to us. We cherish your encouragement and your inspiration. Thank you very, very much. We are all happy for you for achieving this feat, and we encourage you all to shine in your various fields of endeavors to make the university proud. Language interpreted. We'd like to announce that we have commercial photographers accredited to take photographs of you. And they are stationed at BAM Library, the beautiful garden behind the BAM Library. We encourage you all that the beautiful garden behind the BAM Library. We encourage you all that make sure the photographers you engage are accredited by us, so that it will be easy for us to track them for you. So these are the 2 hashtags we are using. We kindly request all graduates to return their gowns after their photos. Please remember to return your gowns after your photos to the collection points, and then you are to return your gowns to Academic Office RT 30. That's where you are returning your gowns, Academic Office RT 30. Return your gowns to us in gowns, or join row us in gowns, or join row by row at the Vice Chancellor's court, where we have the bust of the Vice Chancellors for our group photographs. At this moment, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to rise for the university anthem. Please turn to page 78 of your brochure for the lyrics. Please let's remain standing as the platform party recesses.
Hello. 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 It is indeed a joyous moment right here at the Great Hall of the University of Ghana, and we have just finished with the first cohort of graduates who completed between the 2023 and 2024 academic year. Today we graduated PhD students, MSc, MA, MBA, MPh, as well as MHE. We are excited that our students are going out there and to make the university proud. Just gone by was the official graduation ceremony, and now we will be gauging the emotions of our graduates who are now going into the world to face the world. And so let's go straight to our graduates and get to find out how they are feeling and what they are going to be doing after here. What is next? So I see my girl pressing her phone. I'm sure she's getting some congratulatory messages from her family and friends. Hello, good to have you. Can we have your name, please?
My name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you have made it. Can you tell us the course you just graduated in?
Molecular cell biology of infectious diseases.
That's a very interesting course, but I'm sure, finally the day is here. You have your certificate and you are happy. You know, what was that one defining moment for you during the whole period of your course?
One defining moment, I think the whole process was really great for me. I learned a lot, and then I wish everyone would have that experience. Yeah.
So from here, what next?
PhD, of course.
Oh, I love that. She says from here, PhD. She is eyeing that wine-colored gown, and I wish her the very best. All right, thank you for talking to us. We will be speaking to other graduates, and of course, I have my gentleman here. Hello and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I see the smiles. It says it all.
Right.
How has this journey been?
Yeah, it has been tough, but by the grace of God, we are here today.
Tell us your name and what course you graduated in.
My name is Jonas Confrey. MPhil nursing.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now tell us, how are you going to shape the nursing world with this new, accolade you have received?
Yes, with the learning that we have undergone through, so much of research and all that. So this one, whatever knowledge I have, I'm going to make sure that it turns out to into the research world that will shape nursing. So this one, nursing in this particular period has to do with evidence-based. So with the research we are going to get, it will be evidence for whatever practice work we are going to give out to the patients.
I love that, and I love that you're a man and pursuing, higher degrees in nursing. And as a university, we also pride ourselves in the diversity, equity, and inclusion conversation. And so I'm very excited that you are charting this part. So from here, the question we are going to ask is, what next?
Yeah, the next thing, I'm looking up to the PhD. That's what I intend to pursue too. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, guess what? We wish you the very best. As we say, proceed with integrity. Congratulations, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
All right, and so most of our MA, MPhil, MSc students are eyeing the wine-colored rope, and they are looking forward to proceeding and advancing to their PhDs. And we at the university definitely wish them well. Let's see if we can, get more of our graduates. Obviously, I love the selfie moment that is happening here. Oh, please come closer. I know this is not mine, it's for you, but let me share in the joy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Please tell us your name and what you just graduated in.
Yeah, my name is Prince Akwesifojo, and I graduated in medical biochemistry.
That is beautiful, and I love the flowers. Who brought it to you? Your parents or a special someone?
A special someone.
Oh, wherever you are, special someone, we thank you. But tell us, what was the experience going through this entire course? I know it's quite tough, but was there a moment where you wanted to quit?
It was tough. There were times, you would wonder if you would eventually graduate, Yeah, but through it all, God has been good, and we just give the glory to God, yeah.
What are you taking out there? What's that UG pride you are taking out there? This is an enviable certificate. The UG certificate is one enviable one. What is that pride you are taking out?
Yes, we want to make our nation better. We want to make the country proud, and with what we've acquired here, I think we would do our best to improve the standards. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prince, and all the best. All right, let's go and talk to more of our guests, and we have Mutala with us. Dr. Mutala. We will speak to Dr. Mutala now. All right, so yes, he is being heralded by his family and friends. Let's get closer to Dr. Mutala. Absolutely. This is a beautiful moment, but let's share in that joy. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
We were all waiting. During your vetting process, we just couldn't wait for this.
I know, right?
And it is here. So now you can officially add doctor to the name.
Absolutely.
We wish you the very best. But tell us, we know, you're in the political space, but from here, what next with this, doctorate?
Well, getting a PhD is one thing, and ensuring that it is impactful to society, the community we live in, and the nation at large. For me, that is what is most important. PhD is an eye-opener. It broadens your horizon. It helps you to appreciate things around you. It helps you to appreciate the challenges that confront us as a state. And for me, what I'm taking home is how we can all collectively find solutions to the challenges confronting us as a state. And that is what I'm taking home. I don't see it as something that I should just celebrate too much. It's just a journey, and maybe perhaps it's the beginning of the journey. I think that this is the first time I'm participating in a congregation.
Oh, is it?
When I finished the first degree, I didn't. When I did second degree in tech, I didn't. The one I did in Legon, I didn't. Even when I finished LLB, I didn't. This is the first time, and I think that it's elating, it's gratifying to people you love, family members, my spouse, my kids, and everybody in my constituency, and His Excellency President Mahama, who saw the need to make me a Minister of State. I profoundly appreciate it. it. What I would do is what I have learned, how I can make it impactful to the socioeconomic, growth of this country. And for me, that is the challenge I'm going to have to meet.
Well, Doc, I'm sure throughout this whole period, we all hear it that PhD is tough. You need grit and, willpower to move on. Tell us, I'm sure there was one moment where you wanted to quit. Tell us how you were able to get over it.
Anybody who indeed has done PhD will tell you that there will be a time that you want to. I am a person who enjoys challenges, and all the degrees I have had, I have had them at a time when I was profoundly engaged. When I finished University of Ghana, I was the Secretary General of the All Africa Students Union whilst I went to TED to do my second degree. When I came back to do another second degree at Lesiad, I was then the Deputy National Coordinator for National Youth Employment Program, and I ran a full-time course. So I was trying to manage between my work and at the same time the course. When I went to do LLB, I was a Deputy Minister of Trade. And this time round, when I finished, actually, I decided, I lost my seat in 2016. 2017, I decided that why not use the time to do something, and that was the time I decided, upon the advices of certain people, including Professor Atuguba, who said, look, you need to go and do your PhD. You can't be accumulating second degrees when you have the opportunity to do a PhD. And I think that was the motivation that I decided to just do the PhD. And it's gratifying. And I just want to thank everybody. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you the very best in this new role as well. Thank you so much. And we know you have your family and friends here with us. Maybe we would want to speak with a few of them. I'm sure you are here to support Honorable. So where's your wife? We would have loved to speak with, but of course, let me talk to you. You are here to support Honorable, right?
Yes.
All right, and your name?
My name is Bashir Ibrahim, the brother and the constituency vice chairman of the Minister of Science and Technology. We thank him so much for the good work that he has done. He has started his dedication for a very long time, beginning from, let me say, 1990s up to today, and is able to achieve this I don't even know how to put it. We thank God, and then he has done well, and we pray that he would surely live up to his expectation, and we know that there is more to come by the grace of God. So we thank God for how far he has brought Honorable Ibrahim Mutala. We thank God, and we know and pray that there's more to come by the grace of God. Yes.
Thank you for your time. We are grateful for talking to us. Obviously, I love it when women are winning. We want to congratulate you first and foremost.
Thank you.
Dr. Vicentia from Migration Studies.
Yes. Owusua Asia.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time to talk to us. PhD is no mere feat. I was just talking to Dr. Mutala and says everyone who goes through that process quits at one point, but you need to put yourself together. Tell us your journey with this PhD.
Yeah, so Dr. Mutala was right. Seriously, it hasn't been easy, and I don't think any of our graduates will say it is easy, but with determination and hard work, just be focused. So that was what worked for me. I was really determined and willing to finish. That's why I got here.
And how did family play a role? And also, let me just put it a double-barreled question. How did family support, and how did the UG community also support?
All right, so first, my family. My husband was very supportive. My children, shout out to my husband. He was very, very supportive. From day one, he's been there with me, coming in late. 6:30 on campus at Pada, studying till 8, very late. So he really helped me, and my children were also supportive, helping, filling in the gap when I'm also not there. In the UG community, they've been also wonderful. Pada, for example, I'll give a great thank you to the Pada officials, Dr. ABC, Professor Jasmine Eko. They supported financially, with the Banga support. I had Banga at a point, and also the Mellon Foundation also supported my journey. So they helped me to finish. If not them, I don't think I would have been here.
Lastly, before we move on, being a female and having achieved this feat, what would be your words of encouragement to females who are looking forward to, climbing up the academic ladder and achieving this PhD feat?
Yes, so I'll tell them if I've been able to do it, they can also do it. I mean, please, in class, in Bemaneri, the boys were always trailing. It is true.
Interesting.
In my class, the guys were trailing. So, ladies, you can do it. If I've been able to do it, you can also do it. So, aspire higher. Aspire higher.
Thank you so much and congratulations once again. All right, so let's move on to J-Jom Kwesi. I have Eugene Ado, and I also have, who else do I have here? Hamidu Baba. Yes. Thank you so much for making time. You graduated in an MPhil in Information Studies, MPhil in Information Studies, and Master of Health Economics. Finally, we are here. The moment I know you have been dreaming about, you've had sleepless nights about, and it is here.
Yes, it hasn't been easy, but God's been so good. We've made it to this far, and we really appreciate whoever supported us. So this time, God be so good. Alhamdulillah is what I would say. That means God is good.
Can you share with us some people who have helped you throughout this journey?
So you can't do it without Almighty God. At least there is life. You get to do so many things. You always call on Him, and He's always at your doorsteps. The supervisors has been so helpful, both internal and external. We have our colleagues, we have our tutors, whoever was ready to make this in a success. Not forgetting our families. They are also very supportive when it has to do with doing your masters or PhD or whatever. And we are so grateful. At least we've made it, and we are proud of everything. And they would also be proud of us because at least within the family, it is nice to have a graduate. Yes.
All right, let me come in between J-Jom and then Eugene and also get to find out how they are feeling. I mean, Eugene, tell us, what is that UG pride you are taking away?
The pride to excel in all my endeavors and all that is good. And I wish to express my gratitude to my parents, my supervisors, and all others who have contributed to my success. I thank God as well.
We thank God as well. But so from here, the question we are all asking, what next?
What next? I'm expecting God to direct my path.
The spiritual Eugene has spoken. Well, let me find out what J-Jom is also thinking. I mean, how are you feeling? Can words even describe it?
I mean, I feel a lot of gratitude, and I thank the University of Ghana for this honor that they've done unto us. We graduating this particular year. I also want to say a big thank you to my family. My brother and my sister are here to support me.
Beautiful. If they can join us, your brother and your sister, if they can join us, we want to, find out how you supported.
They have been an immense support throughout this course. It was a very short course. Within 1 year, we had to get it done. The pressure of the school and all of that, but by the grace of God, we've been able to make it.
J-Jom's sister. Oh, J-Jom's sister is not for the cameras. It's fine. You are the star boy, so we will focus on you. So I'm going to put you on the spot right now, and I'm going to take you back to the lecture hall, even though you may not want it at this moment. But J-Jom, your lecturer once said, what did your lecturer once say?
Dr. Richmond, if you don't learn, I will fail you.
And you didn't fail, to the glory of God. Eugene, what did your lecturer once say?
My lecturer once said, Eugene, can you do the qualitative survey?
Oh, and here you are. All right.
Okay, you guys don't look serious. You think MPhil are for kids? No. You have to master your game and make it work.
And now we have made it work, and we say congratulations to you all. Go out and conquer the world. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to speak to more. Oh, Thelma, congratulations on MPhil in Applied
Epidemiology and Disease Control.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about the course. I mean, if you can attempt to sum it all up in a minute.
Okay, so the program is a two-phase program where you have the competency-based that certifies you as a field epidemiologist, and then the MPhil from the university as well. It's an an interesting and quite challenging experience. It really puts you on your toes and gives you all the skills and experiences that you need to also contribute to public health in general. Yes.
So tell us, I mean, was there a moment where you wanted to quit?
Wow, I did. I think.
How did you overcome it?
Yes, so getting to about 2 months into the program, I got pregnant.
Oh, right.
And it was a tough decision for me to make, to either keep my baby or continue with the program. But I persevered.
Yes,
and I continued, and here I am today.
And so I guess it's double congratulations to you, and I'm sure baby will be excited.
Baby is so excited. Yes. So
we wish you the very best. But the question is, from here, what next?
From here, I'm continuing with my public health activities, and I wish to go in for a PhD in epidemiology.
We wish you the very best. Like we say here at UG, proceed with what? Integrity. So we'll say proceed with integrity and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us. All right, so there you have it. That was really a very, touching story or an account from Thelma of how she almost quit because, of course, she's a family woman. Baby came in and she was in a dilemma as to whether to quit or not to quit. But here we are. She is here. Now, talking about babies, I have another baby approaching, and of course, babies come with mothers. Now, this mother is the celebrity of the moment because she has gone through the mill, through parenting, and here she is in this wine-colored robe. Dog, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us your name and what you graduated in?
Okay, I'm Mariano Fair, and I graduated in Doctor of Public Health.
Oh, beautiful. It's been a long time coming. Seeing the baby tells me a lot, but if you would want to sum it all up for us, how the journey has been. Hello, cutie. You want to say something?
Okay, it hasn't been easy, but by the grace of God, we've been able to. It's okay, sorry.
I know you experience a lot of this as well. I know you experience
two children. Yeah, this is the second one, 3 years and 1 year. It hasn't been easy, but God has been good. Yes,
God has been good. We would leave you to go and take care of baby, but we wish you the very best. You are an inspiration. Thank you so much. Baby, don't cry. Shh. I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my job here, little girl. All right, so